Welcome back to the Infected Guide, and where today's video we're gonna be telling you why you suck as a jockey. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep 100% honest with you. The jockey is one of those infected where you kinda are as good as the game lets you be. And what I mean by that is the jockey is very buggy and it's also very poorly designed. So before we even start the video and even start talking about the jockey, I want everybody to understand that this is less of a jockey guide and more of an understanding on how the jockey works, because the jockey is a very simple infected. All you really do as jockey is just spawn on the roof and then go in, get your pin, and then take them around the corner. It's not really hard to do that. It's not really tech groovy. It's not really technically involved. You just really spawn and go. But the issue with Jockey is that the Jockey is such a poorly designed special infected. I don't know if it was before the last stand update, or maybe it was just the game's bad itself, which the game is bad. But what I can say that the Jockey is poorly designed. But first things first, guys. Before we continue throughout the video, let's talk about the basics of the Jockey, which is like two things that you really need to know. You need to know that it does 4 damage for clawing, right? Which is whatever. You didn't know it has 325 HP, which is the third highest in the game, by the way. Second place is going to be Charger, and first place is going to be Tank, obviously. But that's actually a lot of HP. Now, is that enough HP to not get one-shotted by a sniper? No, but that's a lot of HP to do a lot of things, and that's really all. That's really all you kind of need to know about the jockey. I mean, in pubs, you know what? A quick comparison, real quick, of a little information that you need to know. In pubs, you do 4 damage a second, which is really, really fucking slow because this game, a 1 second in this game is actually like 0.3 seconds. So that's really slow. So by the time that 10 seconds go by, you only did 20 damage. That's horrible. that, that is horrible. Holy shit. But yeah, by the time that you have someone alone in pubs for 10 seconds, you're only going to be doing 20 damage. So you're basically doing 2 damage per second, actually, not even 4 damage. I will say though, Jockey does have the second highest burst damage in the game, other than Charger. Zone mod is just the better version of Jockey every single way. Full control, more damage, and yeah, it's just it. More damage and more control. Which, ironically, those two changes make Jockey top 3 infected for sure. Before we even get to the hitbox portion of the video, because that explains a lot of the reasons why people have issues with jockeys, and that's also the reason why your jockeys are sometimes a little successful when they shouldn't be. This is a video by 209x Adil, and this was the only video I was able to find regarding this type of glitch. So if you watch, very very hard to see. Let me see. That, yeah, that's a 720. Very hard to see because this is a very old video, 12 years ago. But there is a jockey over there, and the witch did startle, and you're gonna see that eventually the witch is gonna go. Yep, right here. The witch is right here, and it goes to kill the jockey. And then right after killing the jockey, the witch resets and goes back to normal, like nothing ever happened. That can happen, and the only solution to avoiding that, if you guys ever have that issue, by the way, I learned this the hard way. If you're a jockey, do not take ownership of scratching the witch, because you're gonna accidentally use your left click. You're gonna jump on her, and that may be the reason why it causes that, I think. But based because in this game your left clicks are bullets, I believe, just special type of bullets. Just keep that in mind. If you are going to cover the witch, only scratch her. Do not left click around her, or else she might aggro and try to come kill you. Now, this right here is gonna be the video that we're gonna be watching today, kind of to explain. This is a video by Derp Duck. I'm gonna leave the video in the description to hopefully explain, because I'm going to be skipping through. I'm going to be just quickly analyzing it because I don't want to steal bro's content, but also because there's a lot of yap. There's a lot of repeating that he does. So first things first, basic thing: bounding box, collision with world survivor shoves, and grabbing survivors. This right here is the reason why Jockey is so buggy to begin with. Okay, we're already starting It's literally 1 second into the video, and we're already seeing kind of why the jockey is a bit buggy. The jockey's hitbox. So the issue with this game, and it's the way how it's built, is when you play infected, you are still in a survivor's POV. So your POV is up here rather than down here. I think everybody knows that, right? The issue with that is when you're up here, you're a lot higher than your character actually is. And because of that, a lot of times that you think that you shouldn't have jocked somebody, you should have because your character actually hit them. But a lot of times when you think you should have hit, but it didn't, your character didn't like hit them, but your POV made you look like you hit them. So just keep that in mind. Just keep in mind that this whole yellow box is your basically your hit box, like your real hit box. This is your hurt box, right, where you take damage and everything. But this whole yellow survivor-like hitbox is going to be how you collide with the world, aka shoves and grabbing survivors. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that this is the jockey's actual hitbox. Oh, no, guys, we're gonna change it up. When I say the jockey's hurt box, I'm talking about these right here. And when I say the jockey's collision box, basically, and when I say hitboxes, I'm going to be talking about the survivors. Okay, so as you can see, the axe hitboxes, right, aren't registering with the collision box. But you're going to see once he starts looking down and the hitboxes connect with the hurt boxes, you're going to see that the jockey does take damage, and boom, right there, you can see that the jockey got shoved even though he's hitting up here, and he's still getting shoved even when he shoves down here. So that's also another explanation on why you feel like Jockey is so easy to shove. Is because Jockey has 2 times his height to shove. So like that kind of explains why the Jockey's hard to shove when he's falling down straight on top of you, because you can't really shove something that's you can't really shove because by the time that he connects to you, that's your opportunity to shove. That's why it's hard to shove a Jockey when he's falling down. Now this is right here. This is a great thing. I think that everybody should just go out there and watch this video for this reason. But the jockey's collision box actually changes depending on how the survivor is moving. You're gonna see it right here. Now that when the survivor was standing, the jockey actually did have a shove, a collision box up here, right? But you're gonna find out that when they jump and get grabbed, the collision box that's up here is not gone. It's actually just below the jockey. It's no longer on top of the jockey, it's just below the jockey. And this can explain why sometimes when you shove the jockey, it doesn't go through. And this is big information. Like actually, when I found this out a few minutes after releasing my quote unquote jockey guide, and then once I found this out, I was like, hold on, guys, I gotta go in depth with this because this is kind of crazy. But yeah, basically, if the jockey catches you while you're jumping, you're falling, or you're crouching, that hitbox will not be there. As you see, look at boom. It's not there when he crouches, and it's not there when you're jumping, aka falling. That's basically the same thing. Um, if the jockey crouches and you crouching, it's still not going to be there. As long as you are standing as a survivor, you will have this collision hitbox. But if you're not, which is very situational, then it's not going to be there. So basically, if you're not going to shoot the jockey, you need to shove the jockey. Just aim at the torso of the survivor to stay consistent. Okay, that's basically what you need to know on the survivor side. And on jockey side, if you do get this situation, good for you because now you might be able to sneak in a little more damage because now they have to shoot you. They can't just shove you off from across the map. This is where things also get really buggy with the jockey. As you can see, everything aligns perfectly fine with the jockey to the hurt boxes, right? The collision box is there. Everything is fine, right? Everything is completely fine. Right, everything is completely fine. Everything is working fine. But then we get to Rochelle. And this is a bit of a situation. This is what I'm talking about when I say you guys have to watch this video to be like, damn. As you can see, he is shooting the foot. Okay. By the way, I want to let everybody know that white is the current position, right? Jockey's hurt box that I'm talking about. Red is the client side getting the hit, but the blue is actually the server side saying that I got hit, aka the real hit, okay? If it's red, it's a fake hit. If it's blue, it's a real hit. So just look at this. He's shooting the jockey's foot and is getting no damage. It's counting on his screen because on his screen and everybody's screen, even in like literally in everything, the jockey's right here and you're shooting the jockey. So you're obviously gonna get an animation for shooting the jockey. But as you see, then he gets a blue one. So then the game finally registered that the bullet actually hit. So if you see a Rochelle or even a Zoe get pinned, just aim for the top part of the jockey. This is a bit weird because, well, if you want to shove them, you got to look down. And if you want to shoot them, you got to look up. But just keep that in mind. Like I said, just go watch the video to like really just understand little nitty bitty details. But that is essentially why the jockey feels so buggy to play against. And this will show one more thing about the jockey and why he's so buggy. We're gonna see another video by Air Dedicate. I think it's Air Decade. As you can see, the white is the jockey's actual hurt box, right? And you're gonna see that they're not aligned whatsoever. Now, what the reason because of this is because of how interp works and everything. So, yes, it's showing that it is ahead of the jockey, but to be honest with you, sometimes it's not going to be always like. Sometimes it's going to be directly on the jockey. That's just a good example and a good explanation on why jockey seems to cross map. Like I said, the collision box is what makes it weird. The hitbox of the game itself makes it weird. So not only are you trying to shove a jockey that is actually closer than it actually is, and you don't know how close it is, you're also trying to play that infected. Like you're trying to play the infected where you aren't actually where you are, and you can get shoved so easily. So that's kind of why it's hard to play jockey because you could so easily get shoved, and you simultaneously don't know where you actually are. So yeah, that's really all I gotta say about the jockey. The jockey is a very weird to understand infected that is only really bad because of the game design itself, really. If the game actually designed the jockey how it's supposed to be, a small, agile infected that's really annoying and that could kind of control you, then I think the jockey would actually be pretty good in pubs. But because of all of his issues, they had to kind of overtune him in zone mod to make him good, and then because of that, he's actually a good infected. Probably not the best infected, probably not the most important infected, but he's also really good in zone mod. So I hope this video actually explains kind of I kind of hope this video I hope this video that next time when you get jockey, you understand why something happened, or that next time that when you do get jockey, you understand what your limitations are and everything, so that you just don't get fucked basically. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about jockey. This is more of an information video than a guide, but I think a guide is as good as the information that it gives. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.